Good morning. Today's Friday, February 6th, 9 o'clock, and this is the Legal Committee meeting of the Motor Vehicle Commission. I'm Commissioner Kramer, Chairman of the Legal Committee. I would note for the record the following members of the Legal Committee are present: Chairman Roberts, Commissioner Norton, Commissioner Andrews, and myself. Also today we have filling in for Commissioner Levy, Vice Chair Farabon. Additionally, we are joined by Executive Director Denise Lawrence, Jason Gilliam, Assistant Director, and our legal staff, Erica Cable and Taylor Hilton. Our disciplinarian counsel and Sierra Shepherd, who serves as our program attorney. Now I'll open the floor up for discussion from members of the committee.
Commissioner Norton, we had a few things that I think I'm clear on now, but I do have just a couple of others. Let me see here. What was discussed was the 120 days, which appeared in our reviews, and I was a little confused on the 120 days, and of course now I think it's running parallel with the temporary tax 260 days. And I think that's something, if you got anything, anybody's got anything on that, I think it was mentioned. But I think I'm clear on that now.
And if anybody has any questions about that, I'm prepared to answer any questions you have about it. I want to make sure that.
Well, it was throughout the report, and and it was 120 is something I've never actually seen.
It was in several places.
Yeah, several places worthy of mention, but I think Shelby County was the culprit for the 120 day, an extension on a 60-day tag. And then it's been kind of unclear, was that extended beyond COVID?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the revenues allowed it to stay at 120.
Yeah, I'll give you just a little history because I can understand why you might be confused or wondering why the 120 came up. So when COVID started back in 2020, I'm almost positive the Department of Revenue was allowing for 2 30-day tags before COVID. That was pretty standard. So that basically means a consumer can drive their vehicle on a temporary tag for 60 days. And if the dealer has not provided title and registration after 60 days, they cannot drive their car legally anymore. And that's when usually we'll see a complaint. Well, when COVID hit, they extended that to 3 30-day tags, which was 90 days. So we had that for a little while. And then I think when the Shelby County delay and backlog came up, they allowed for 2 60-day tags. So then we went from 90 days to 120 days. With all of that said, their law has never really matched what they're allowing for since COVID because they're trying to give the dealers some leeway. Right now, the law is actually 1 60-day tag, but we've been in communications with the Department of Revenue for 5 years now about this, and we stay in communication with them. And they've made it clear that they are allowing for 2 60-day tags, despite the fact the law says 1 60-day tag. So for now, and for a while now, a consumer can drive their car on 2 60-day temp tags. They have 120 days to provide the title and registration. And if they don't do that, that's when we step in and we usually will fine them if they've not worked out something with the customer where they give them their money back or they provide a loaner or they pay for a rental.
Yeah.
When they do that, we work with them. When they don't, you won't see that in the summary. And that's usually when we recommend a fine because a consumer can't drive their car. And we think 120 days is pretty fair.
Are we doing 120 for the whole state or just for Shelby?
Yes, because the Department of Revenue is allowing all dealers that leeway. It doesn't just apply to one county.
Okay.
And also Denise has, because it's been, I don't know, maybe a couple of months since we have followed up with them and checked with them. They've made it clear many times they'll tell us if something changes, but we still follow up with them. So Denise has just reached out to them to verify nothing's changed. And if it does, we'll let you know.
Yeah, please do let us know.
But that's where the 120 comes from.
Okay.
Was there never a provision where you could request another one? Like you could go to somebody and request an additional tag?
There is, yeah, there's
Okay.
something called a temporary operating permit, which a dealer has to actually go through their county clerk or their local clerk's office and get that additional tag. And I'm sure they have to give them some sort of proof of a extenuating circumstance. But if they get that and they tell us, then of course we wouldn't fine them.
So you.
Yeah, that's
you could
another
actually get
option.
another 60 days.
I don't know how long the TOPs are for.
Okay.
But it would say on there. And
Okay.
as long as the dealer told us about this and they did it the right way, then we would have no problem with that.
I think I heard y'all discussing about the title issue. Sometimes we just can't get a title.
Right, right. And we understand that. And that's why we say, as long as you work with the consumer and don't let that burden fall on them and help them so they have a car to drive, then we don't see the problem with that, because we understand that there's auctions can be delayed getting you the title. It can be a title from out of state. There's a bunch of different reasons. So it's really fact specific, and we always try to give you all those facts.
Well, the burden should not land on the consumer. And there's been many reports where the respondent said the blame lies with the auction. It does not.
Right.
It does not. It blames on the dealer who sold the car. So,
Right.
you know, I think it's, they either they got to make the customer whole.
Right.
It can't be a burden upon the customer. Like you said, they can put them in a rental car or a loaner car from the dealership or give them their money back. But
Right.
they can't drive a car illegally. I mean,
Or try to get that temporary,
Yeah.
TOP from the clerk. So, if you see it on our report and you see a fine recommended, it's because none of those things happened. And they let that burden fall on the
on the
consumer.
Yeah. And another thing, if I'm not mistaken, the consumer can go direct. This happens when consumers buy cars from other individuals or a dealer that's gone out of business and they don't get a relief from a temporary tag. They can go straight to Department of Revenue, if I'm not mistaken,
They
and
can.
get a tag, get a temporary tag while they're seeking relief or seeking a title. So.
Yeah, usually if the complaint comes to us and nothing's done, I guess the dealer just thinks that the consumer, I've even seen dealers say that, we'll give you a letter or a note to show a cop if you get pulled over. I've literally seen that as a response. And to me, that's a problem.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up. On case number 71, assessing a $5,000 penalty for delivering too many temporary tags. It usually state how many temporary tags were they issued. And that, we know that, so we know we're consistent with the fines as far as.
Yes. So, and this was a little bit different than the typical situation for this one. So essentially, both the complainant and the respondent informed counsel that respondent has just been providing temporary tags throughout this entirety 9-month period. I informed the respondent that this was a violation and that it would be presented to the commission if they wanted to provide me any information to mitigate that. And if they could please let me know the exact number that they provided. They have not answered any of my follow-ups, nor has the complainant. So I wasn't able to provide an exact number because I cannot get an exact number from the respondent or the complainant.
So the fine was determined how?
Because they both previously, before I let them know it was a violation, said that they've been sending them for 9 months.
Well, during that time of 9 months, you got 120 days that are given, and then there's only so much time that could have been in the violation. That's why I'm just making sure there's a.
Yeah, well, no, they said that they were sending it, so 120 days is what?
Minus,
That's 4
if it's
4 months, so for 5 months, so
5
that's
months.
5.
5, okay.
Yeah,
So that's,
and and 5,000 per violation, and we typically do 1,000
okay,
over,
all right.
so.
I was just, I just
Yeah.
didn't see a number to multiply that by, making sure that it's consistent with what.
Yeah, no, based on the information that they gave us, it appears they've been getting one every single month over that. So it would be $5,000 if once they get this consent order, if they want to respond back and say, oh, we didn't answer it, but we only gave 2, here's the log.
Yeah.
I'll
There you go.
represent it, but based on the information they provided me, and then I have attempted numerous times since then to get in touch with them again, but ever since I've informed them that it would likely be a violation, I have not been able to get back in touch with them.
On that number.
And it's been an extremely long delay since they have been provided their title. They still don't have their title and registration information, this complainant.
On that 71, has the dealer license been renewed? Do you know? Jason, is there a way for you to look it up?
Yes, my paralegal is listening and he just messaged that, yes, it has
Okay.
been renewed.
Okay.
Denise, how are they getting that many temporary tags? Are you looking into that or did you, They hot wiring the system or how?
Erica, how are they getting that many temporary tags? Are they hot wiring the system? No, I'm looking for backup
No,
because
I can tell
we,
you.
we don't know. And
Well, I can
we've
tell you
told
things I've seen.
revenue that they're doing this.
Revenue issues it, so why are they not keeping up with it?
So
I
the
can
question
I can
is,
answer that.
how many or how are
well-
dealers getting more temporary tags from Easy Tag than you're supposed to? Well, what I've seen is if you change the sale date in Easy Tag, it'll let you print more. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
We have shared that.
That is a question
Multiple
for the
times.
Department of Revenue. And we have brought it to their attention.
Okay.
So,
Doesn't make it okay though, right?
so if there aren't any other questions on that one specifically, just in general, it seemed, and maybe it's just an impression, but when I was going through these, it seems like we have more people who aren't taking us seriously at some level. In terms of not returning your phone calls, which I think would be a phone call they would want to return. Do you have a feel for, is that just a false impression, or are you guys feeling that way too, that people just, for some reason, are not taking this seriously? Or they take it seriously and they're just being seriously evasive?
I don't know that I am seeing it more. It might be that before Taylor and I, maybe you didn't get as much detail in your summaries.
Mhm.
And that information wasn't maybe, clear in the summary, but
Okay,
and the more experience I think we both get, the more we understand like what's important to put in the summary and what's not, or what's relevant. But I don't know that it's more.
okay.
I think there's always been problems with it.
Yeah, fair enough. And it could be just a certain segment of the business just is kind of that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
And I don't know, maybe we've also tried really hard to on our end communicate as much as possible and make as much effort as possible. And maybe that wasn't done in the past for whatever reason.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of times I look over Tim Slattery and say, well, we need to communicate this. But I'm pretty sure the people that you're talking about aren't the ones that are reading their bulletins.
I think you're right. I do think you're right.
So the only case I really had a question about was 5531, where they were saying that they had a couple licenses lapsed because they had a change in personnel, and so they so we're assessing a $2,500 fine.
What was the question? I apologize. I have it, the complaint pulled up.
Question, so in terms of, we had some pretty big fines in this report, and I really didn't see any ones that I had an issue with, other than on 2025 055 531. It's the one where they had a lapse in a salesperson's license, and I think it says the dealer's license. They both expired, but were subsequently renewed. And it looked like they sold a car to between the expiration and the renewal and addressed it. It looks like as soon as they figured it out and they said, hey, we lost someone in our accounting department that usually does this. So it seemed like an honest mistake.
Which number?
What number is that?
It's 48.
40?
Oh, number 48, excuse me. Yeah, I used the case number. Number 40. Yeah, that's not very helpful, is it? Yeah. Case number 48,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So are you asking, you think it's too high is what you're
Well, I
suggesting?
just didn't know if people thought, I didn't know if there was extenuating circumstances or if this was just like an honest
Yeah.
paperwork mistake, and, or if there's other reasons you thought hitting them with, $2,500 was really, I guess, a proportionate response.
Yeah, so they went with from January 31st, 2025 to September 17th, 2025 without a licensed salesperson, which is in violation of having a dealership license. They technically have to have a salesperson to have a licensed dealership. So even though their dealer license did not expire to June 30th, 2025, and they renewed in September, they did not have an active salesperson that entire time in violation of a license requirement. So that is nearly 8 months of them not having a licensed salesperson. And while they only did sell one car, that is an extreme
Yeah, I got
amount of time to not
yeah, I
have a
got a
licensed
question.
salesperson. And typically we do last report, we were doing about 5,000 for situations like this. So
Mm.
I did already cut that in half.
Fair enough.
But I do feel that is an extremely long delay to not have a licensed salesperson, but I'm open to.
Yeah, I had a problem with how many cars they sold in that period. I mean, does that match the sales tax reports, the annual report? I mean, I just can't say how can be in business sell one car. So
So this dealership also sells like ATVs and off-road vehicles. And so Jason and I went through every single sale they made, and it was only one that fell under our jurisdiction. The rest were not required to have a license.
okay, well, that makes
Which-
sense.
Which brings up another issue that I hope we can discuss perhaps in April, with licensing entities that just sell ATVs. There are all these different specifications that they have to reach, and, you know, they only have to have a license if this. But all of these in particular, there is a method for registering. And, you know, my line of thought is if it's registered and titled and has a tag on it, then that's a motor vehicle, but not really. So that's why this one,
Well, and I want to clarify, Jason and I went through all these documents.
yeah,
These
yeah.
ones were not registered
no.
or
No.
titled.
And she's correct. We argued about this yesterday because I was sick and I didn't get to go over this one. I will tell you, Taylor will be mad after I say this. This went on for a very, very long time. And though they didn't have an accountant and there's historically, there's always an excuse with this particular licensee. And I was literally getting daily calls from the county clerk begging for help because of the various things we have no control over, you know, that when they were trying to register vehicles. So there are extenuating circumstances.
It sounds that way.
You know, does it come under our purview? I don't know.
Well, it really makes me wonder if they're an ongoing healthy business that dabbles in cars once or twice a year. Maybe they ought not to sell cars. I mean, do we have an opportunity just to say, hey, maybe you're not a good fit for this?
There have not been evidence of enough violations for us to be able to seek revocation or anything to deny their license.
Well,
No, I don't think he's saying revoke, but maybe advise them they don't necessarily need a
Well, I
new
mean,
license.
in a different circumstance, I mean, we've got a couple, you know, I sit on a beer board as well, and occasionally we've got a restaurant that sells 1 or 2 beers a week, and they screw it up when they do it.
Yeah.
So we think maybe this isn't a good fit for the restaurant. You know.
Well, as
I
long as
just
they check
wonder.
the box, as long as they check the box, just being a dealer, there's nothing we can do. How many of the cars they sell, those they can be a viable business and they don't harm the consumer. That's really, we don't care how many they sell. And they may not be a good fit, but it's the law is the law. If they check the box, they check the box. But I agree with you. I think it ought to be discussed. The ATVs have been looming for a long time. You know, whether they're under our purview, whether or not, you know, I think that needs to be clarified, especially the ones that are tagged and they're streets, they're a motor vehicle. They should be regulated for sure. So I think that's something we could table and take into April. But anyway, in that same one, there's one, number 77 was similar to 48. And I had the question, it's just the same thing, the license lapsed from, there's June, July, and August. Same thing, there's only 4 cars sold during that period. I thought that was kind of odd. I don't know, did y'all match that to the annual report and the sales tax records and everything?
Yeah, we came up with that number looking through their
Okay,
documentation.
all right, okay.
They didn't provide that information. We
okay.
found that through documentation.
That was just kind of odd, so.
Hey, can we go back to, I don't think we've talked about 22, but I would propose, and I'm not one that usually does this, but I think that we need to get them to come into the next meeting, push this back. It's a big number. And I think if they don't show up, then we pull their license, do a revocation. But I just don't, I just wouldn't want to say that you either pay the 26,000 and we'll pull your license if you don't. I think they need to come in and see us.
So, okay, so at this point, the option is we can give them a settlement offer in the form of a consent order, which
Yeah.
right now, just the recommendation is that total $26,000 civil penalty for all of these complaints. Or if they didn't want to pay that, they can surrender their license and close their business. But if you want them to come in, I don't know where that would fall in to,
They can vote on that.
like, would it be part of the consent order? Or do we wait on the consent order?
Either way they want to do it.
Okay.
They can require them as a part of the consent order to come in,
Okay,
or if they want
Okay.
to vote to have them come in prior to making.
okay, so we can make it as you pay the $26,000 and you appear at the next meeting.
Okay.
So you can talk to them, ask them questions.
Yeah, I just think that we need to, it's with caution that we do this because, you know, a legislator would look up and say, you're taking revenue away from us and just shutting somebody down, and you didn't thoroughly go through the, hear from them about what they really did or didn't do. I just think they should have that chance.
Well, then that's why, I mean, they have a choice. They're not being forced to. It was just, if their
Yeah.
business is failing or they're in a bad spot that's causing all this and they just didn't want to move forward. It was just a choice. But so do you
Oh,
want?
you think that's what it is?
No, I'm not sure. That's why I thought we give them that option in the consent order. They do not have to surrender their license. They don't even have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the violations are serious enough that I thought that fine
Yeah.
was necessary. And
Okay.
let me see their history.
So we can leave
And
the
they've had
fine and
such
then
a-
just tell them they could come and appear before us.
Yeah, and they've had like a pretty recent history of these same issues, and
Mhm.
we've already fined them, and they've already signed a consent order.
Sure.
And then back in 2021, they had another one.
Sure.
But I guess my question is, do you want them to come in before we move forward with sending a consent order out so you can talk to them first? Or do you want that to be part of their consent order, that they pay a fine and come in? Or do you want to hear from them first before you make any decision on a fine?
If somebody fined me as a dealer that much money, I'd want to come talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I'd
I
want
think
my
that's what
day
I
heard.
want. I think that's what we need to do.
So,
Before you give the consent order, get them in here. That's a big number. And I'm not saying they're not guilty. I'm not saying you didn't investigate it properly. I just think that we just need to get them in here.
okay, so you want them to come in before we do anything?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Does that take any,
Are
is that
y'all
any
okay
problem
with
with
that?
taking away their anonymity?
They can decline. and then
Okay,
you can
yeah,
take them.
okay, so I guess they'll have the decision. If they don't want to come in, if they don't want to come in, can I send,
Then
can we
take
authorize
their-
this consent order to go out?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so, so I'll change my recommendation to require the dealer to come into the next board meeting,
Mhm.
which they'll understand that they will no longer have anonymity, or they can sign this consent order and pay
Mhm.
the fine.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else from any of you all?
Eric, I believe this number 20 was yours.
20, you said? Okay. Sure, let me just look it over real quick.
It seems like it's kind of serious and then it
Yeah, okay, so it is pretty serious. This respondent is against a single individual, who, not that this matters, it's just a fact of this that's relevant, does not speak any English. And they are, what I believe, based on our investigation, is working for a licensed dealer in Tennessee, kind of doing whatever that dealer wants them to do. And that is how they've gotten involved in this kind of mess. So my recommendation was I didn't have a whole lot of evidence against that individual, but I have quite a bit of evidence against the licensed dealer. So I thought the best way to handle it and move forward was give this individual a warning about you can no longer associate with any kind of licensed dealer unless you get a license as a salesperson, and really go after the dealer. So that's my recommendation, is to open a complaint against that licensed dealer, do more investigation against the dealer. And then if we are able to come up with more evidence against that individual, I can always open a new complaint against that individual. I just thought the real problem lies with the dealer from what I can see right now. But I agree with you, it is really serious.
Well, we got a couple more, Mr. Byrne. I got one more, just to, On number 105, there's $1,000 civil penalty. And I'm referring back from 105 to number 85. And it's a similar situation, but there's a letter of warning. And I just didn't know if there's an explanation why that, one case, there's a civil penalty, the other case, there was a letter of warning. 105 and 85, 105 and 85.
I'm just reading them over very quickly.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure there's an explanation. I just didn't see it. And trying to be consistent with the same issues.
105 and 85, right?
You're correct.
It was just based on, it was a shorter amount of time for 85 than it was on 105. Like in 85, it was only a few days over 120,
Okay,
and there was just a more extreme delay at 105.
okay. I thought
They were nearly within that 820 days, and so it was about like 2 or 3 days later.
Okay.
So that's why we're
That-
just
that
giving
makes
them a
sense.
break. Yeah.
That makes sense. I understand.
And just with that said, I just want to make sure that the commission, that we're all on the same page and get your opinion if you feel differently. The one you just talked about, and then I have another one on here that the dealer got the registration entitled to the consumer within like 130 days. And I did a letter of warning there as well. Is the commission okay with that? Or do we want to be really strict? If it's 121, we fine them? Or do you feel like there should be a little leeway? Because I
feel
want to
like-
be consistent, you know?
Yeah, I'm okay with a little leeway. And you guys have the opportunity doing the investigation to see the intent of the dealer.
And I
the
always,
quality of the
I take that
individual,
into
what they're trying to
consideration.
do. I mean, I get it. I'm okay with that.
Agreed.
I find like if it's 150 or 140 even, I usually will find them, unless they've just done everything they can do and they're, you know, I also consider how they've worked with us.
I was about to say the lack of communication.
How
that would-
responsive
yeah.
they've been, how much detail they give me. If they give me one sentence and say, oh, it's resolved, and they don't want to talk about it, I usually won't give them as much leeway. So it is really, I understand from your point of view, it might look like this doesn't seem consistent, but we really look at the facts, and it's so fact specific with these title and registration delays. So please know that Taylor and I spend a lot of time and energy learning those facts and making sure that we're as consistent as we can be, but also understanding that every situation is different.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if as long as the facts lead that direction, well, you have to be careful not to show favoritism. to
No,
someone.
I know dealers ask me a lot for that, but I don't ever give any kind of favoritism.
Well, as a business person and as a parent, I know not everything is just cut and dry, and I appreciate y'all taking that approach and using good judgment. So thank you very much.
And I want to clarify 105, since we're talking about this. I think just so we're consistent, Erica may have been going a little bit further than me. That 85 was only like 2 days. This 105 is 15 days. It was 135. I did the math. So I don't know if we want to do a letter of warning or keep it at the 1,000. Keep it at the 1,000.
Mr. Kramer, that's all I've got.
Is that it? Okay, well, I'd entertain a motion to amend the report.
So moved.
Denise?
Second. Second.
The motion made by Chairman Kramer to adopt the report as amended, seconded by Chairman Roberts, Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Vaughn.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Kramer.
Aye.
Votes aye, and Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
You have adopted the legal report as amended.
Okay, we'll just take a couple of minute break and everybody else come on down. Let's get ready for the regular quarterly meeting. Okay, let's get started, everyone.
Yeah, we can get off right.
Can somebody find Victor if he's wandering around in the hallway? And Carl, yeah.
Sir, stop visiting.
Before we get started on the quarterly meeting and all the formality of that, I'd like to welcome our new member from Nissan, representing Nissan. And it's Tricia Jung.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I pronounced that right. So anyway, but welcome to the Motor Vehicle Commission. Glad you are willing to serve.
Thank you. Very happy to
Okay.
be here.
Jim Galvin is not here today. He wasn't able to be here. He was going to be here for the regular time that we would have the meeting, but he can't be here today. And so this is his last meeting. This will be his last. So anyway, just wanted to make everybody aware of that. And anything else I need to talk about on membership on the commission?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Executive Director Lawrence, if you will call the roll, we need to establish the quorum.
Commissioner Andrews is present. Commissioner Copenhaver
Present.
is present. Commissioner Evans is present. Commissioner Jung
Present.
is present. Commissioner Kramer
Present.
is present. Commissioner Norton
Present.
is present. Commissioner Owens is present. Commissioner Rydell
Present.
is present. Commissioner Vaughn
Present.
is present. Commissioner Yarborough
Present.
is present, and Chairman Roberts.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have 11 members present.
Okay, notice of public comments to be held at the end of the meeting. It'll be in the back of the room. Meeting notice, Executive Director Lawrence.
Today's meeting date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission's website, included as part of this year's meeting calendar since January 30th, 2026. Only since then because we changed the date so many times. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission's website since January 30th, 2026. This meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website.
All right. We need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The agenda's adopted. The meeting minutes were loaded up for everybody to look at, and that was from the October 28th meeting. What's your pleasure on the minutes?
Approved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll?
The motion is to adopt the minutes as presented. Commissioner Rydell? Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
You have adopted the agenda.
Okay. No, you mean the minutes. And anyway, we can now go into salesperson dealer appeals. We have all person license, right? We don't have any dealer applications. Okay. Anthony Bell. Oh, that's the next time. Okay, that's been pushed to the next one. All right. Let's go with David Robbins. Okay, come on up.
Sir.
And our council will tell us kind of what's going on here.
Okay.
Okay, so there's 3 relevant convictions. So there's, excuse me, 4. There's 2 counts of forgery, and the latest date of release probation or parole is January 13th of 2027. So the commission has discretion to deny until 2032 of January. There is another relevant crime of attempted theft of property. The latest date of release probation or parole is July 13th of 2027, and the commission has discretion to deny until July 13th of 2032. And the last relevant crime is theft of property. The latest date of release, probation or parole is January 13th of 2026. So the commission has discretion to deny until January 13th, 2031. So the latest date of discretion that the commission has is January 13th of 2032.
Okay, Mr. Robbins, would you like to address us?
Yes,
And
yes,
tell
sir.
us your story and
Yes,
why
sir.
all this happened?
Yes, sir. So my name is David Robbins. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. A little backstory on me. Former business owner and former professional athlete. I used to own a martial arts school in Cleveland near the Chattanooga region. I worked with kids. I trained police officers, did a lot of that. When COVID came, I lost the gym and I lost my daughter. My daughter's mom took her back to Georgia where she's from. So I kind of lost everything, lost my purpose in life and turned to drugs. For a couple years, I was just using fentanyl. I had no purpose in life. I just kind of wandered around. Then I got these charges and then also found out that my current girlfriend was pregnant with my son, who's 18 months old now. When I found out he was on the way, I left the region. I moved up to Knoxville, where my dad is at. I attended rehab and therapy, went through all that, stayed completely clean ever since the arrest in 2024, about 2 years ago. I consistently held a job ever since. I kind of just had no purpose in life. So I was just riding around doing whatever. I lived in my car at the time, but I like I said, I moved out of there for a fresh start for my life, to take care of my son and get my life back on track. Since doing so, I held a job at Taco Bell for the first year. Then I drove a truck for a little while on the road, but I missed my son too much. And I ended up going to Old Ben in Knoxville, found an opportunity there, and I've fallen in love with it. I really like just interacting with people and everything like that. So, I made some mistakes, but I know that, I know you guys have the opportunity to give me a better, fresh start for myself. And I would just, appreciate that. So.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you did to catch the charges?
So I I had friends that were they were cashing fake checks, and they offered me money and drugs to drive them. I had a car, so I drove them to the store to cash the checks. And by me driving them, that made me just equal with them. So bad decision. $90 ended up costing me 4 felonies. So no excuses for it. Yeah, if I wasn't hanging out with those people, I wasn't doing those things, I accepted my responsibility, and I'm just trying to move forward with my life now. So.
On the follow up on that, you have 4 charges against you for driving a car, attempted theft and forgery. That's for driving
No,
a car.
so what happened was the attempted theft was where there was one check that was attempted to be cashed. So that was the attempted theft. And there was one check that was cashed, and that was the theft of property.
Well, you did. The other than driving the car, you passed the check yourself.
No, sir. I drove the car to the gas station, but I was an accomplice with them so yes, sir. So I got the same charges. I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, so, but we all were there was 3 of us, and we all got the criminal simulation, forgery, and attempted theft or theft.
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got a couple of questions. Were you required to make restitution?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete that?
Yes, ma'am. It was $472, and it was required to be paid in the first 90 days.
Gotcha.
So that was paid in full.
And so you're not still associating with the same people?
No,
correct?
ma'am. I moved away from that area. I was the Chattanooga region. I'm in Knoxville. I live in a camper in my dad's backyard right now. So
Hey, the camper life can be fun.
yeah.
Also, are you have support, and are you
Yes,
attending?
ma'am. I still attend therapy. And then I'm back involved with the gym again. I help coach at a gym called Shield Systems in Knoxville. And I help out with them. I help with the kids and the adults in the kickboxing program, as well as work, 50 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just trying to take care of my son. So they really gave me a fresh purpose again.
Gotcha.
So how long have you been with old Ben Franklin?
I started there October the 1st.
Okay. And what do you do there now?
So I just answer phone calls and schedule appointments. I get people in the door, drive traffic to the store. So and anything else they ask me to do. So, yes, sir.
Okay. Who'd you bring with you?
I brought Mr. Josh Loop.
Would he come up and address us? Tell us your name and what oversight you have of him.
Good morning. My name's Josh Loop. I'm the dealer principal for Old Ben Franklin. David Robbins came on board with us in October. He is at our location, our flagship store that's been around since 1987. So he came on board. We knew that he was denied pretty quickly. So we immediately went to him as we do and say, hey, you can't be a salesperson. Would you like to stay on board and basically do whatever we ask you to do? And he said, absolutely, I would. I need a job. I would love an opportunity. We talked to him about the pill process. He was interested. We were not interested, to be honest with you. I don't know if you all know or realize, but we haven't been here for an appeal with a salesperson in almost a decade. We don't take it lightly. We don't go out on a limb. We did that a few times. We actually got pretty lucky. A lot of them turned out really well. A couple of them still with us. But given a couple other bumps in the road, we just knew it best to, we just didn't want to get into the appeal situation. So when David came on board and we saw the work ethic and we saw what he's wanting to do, we believe in second chances. We've had second chances. A lot of us individually have had second chances. So it's just something that we're passionate about. We believe in. We're not running a reform system or anything like that, but we believe that we've got a gentleman here that will step up and own his situation and take care of his business. We have had 0 red flags since he started. I believe the red flags typically pop up in about 30 days, and that includes the people that we do license. So with our commitment to oversight, he's on a probationary period with us. If he's granted a license for at least a year, we'll monitor it after that. But we're going to do weekly check-ins with our executive team and make sure that what we saw on day 1 and day 30 and day 60 and everything we've seen so far continues down that path. So.
Okay, commissioners, any questions?
I have one question. Was he up front with you on the charges or did
Yes.
originally?
Yeah, and that played a big factor for us when he let us know. Our position was, hey, we try to do a little bit of our own background check, but we'll submit it and we'll see what the response is, which is typically what we say. So yeah, very upfront and honest. Hasn't hid anything from us, and what you heard today is what we heard on day 1.
Will you be his direct supervisor?
So he has supervisors at the store.
Mhm.
I'm not in the store daily, but I'm in the store 3 or 4 times a week at that location. Part of his probationary period is to meet with myself and the 2 others on the executive team. I've got a co-dealer principal and an operations manager. So we're there very, very often. Between the 3 of us, we're in that store 90, 100 hours a week. So there's a lot of observation going on, behaviors, things like that. So I think we've got a pretty good eye on him.
How long have you been in the car business?
Well, I've been with Old Ben Franklin in some capacity since I was 15 years old, detailing cars. 43 now, so been around for a long time. I ran the business office for a long time, and my father-in-law, he retired 4 or 5 years ago, and we purchased the business from him.
Got it.
Do you have an inbound drug testing, or do you do random drug testing, or have any drug testing?
So we do have drug testing at time of hire, and then we do have random drug screens. That is, part of our employee process.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to, did you have a question? I would make a motion to approve his license.
Second. Okay.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the license?
The motion is to approve licensure for Mr. Robbins. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton? That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
votes aye. We will process your sales license electronically and we'll email a copy to the dealership.
And you'll have it today,
Today.
won't you? Yeah.
Today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Justin Long.
Yes,
Will
sir.
that be on the screen? Okay.
So Mr. Long's relevant conviction is distribution of a quantity of cocaine and Schedule II controlled substance. His last date of release, probation, or parole is February 24th of 2027. So the commission has discretion to deny until February 24th of 2032.
Which one is Mr. Long?
Me,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Mr. Long, would you like to address the commission and tell us what happened and on your side?
Yes, sir. In 2015, I made a show in
We
Vegas.
can't, the volume's not on.
Can you hear me now? Is it muted?
Jason, can you hold up just a moment, folks? We can't hear them. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go.
Perfect.
Okay, Mr. Long, talk to
Yes,
us.
sir. In 2015, so I'm a professional boxer. And 2015, I made a show in Las Vegas. It was a huge opportunity. I ended up getting hurt right before my fight and came home and kind of, I was just down on myself and I spiraled out of control and I was doing the wrong things, hanging with the wrong people, uh, just not being a good person at all. And 4 years later, I ended up having to deal with my actions. So I got arrested in 2019. The reason it went so long, I don't think the conviction went on until pre-trial until 21 or 22 because of COVID. Since then, I turned everything around before I even got in trouble. I work with the state a lot. Me and my wife promote shows. Actually, Mr. Robbins has fought for me before. I started my own remodeling business. We own a nonprofit to where we train kids. I have a bunch of kids that I train. I've never sold cars, and I came here, and they welcome me with open arms, and it's I'd like to have the opportunity to try to work for them.
Okay, quick questions from the commissioners.
White Road. Sorry, I don't know where that's coming. Commissioner Jung, can you please tell us, have you had any other incidents since the trial and so forth? Are you under a treatment program or anything like that?
No, ma'am. Since the day of my arrest, I was out on bond until I actually got convicted, and they made me take monthly drug tests, and it was 42 or 43 total that I've passed. So I haven't had any treatment. They didn't require me to take any treatment or rehab or anything like that. I'm actually off probation. They terminated it early, about 8 or 9 months ago. So I've done everything that I was supposed to do for the court system.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you were arrested, what happened when you got arrested, what led up to that?
Just hanging with the wrong people, and I got brought in on a charges of distribution of cocaine. When I came home, I kind of developed a habit. I felt like that was helping me cope with everything that was going on. It seemed like my world just turned upside down once I got hurt, and me and my wife broke up, and I just turned to that, and I realized it was a mistake. That was 2015, and I haven't touched it since then. It's been about 11 years.
So you were charged with selling cocaine to other people, correct? And then you haven't done it since, and that was in 2015?
Yes, sir. It was in 2015, but I didn't get arrested until 2019.
Okay.
And then the conviction, or I was on pretrial for about 2.5, 3 years because of COVID. We wasn't going into the court. So that's why I think it was 42 negative drug tests. I'm sorry.
I have actually a question for the commission. So I'm looking at the appeal request form and it's all filled out correctly, but the one that was applied for online, I guess, he answered no to, have you ever pled guilty or been convicted of a crime? It says no.
On
You see
my
that? On your application. So did you mark no on that? Because that's what it shows on our papers.
No, I've been up front since day one.
Are you looking at Erica? You see the one I'm looking at?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had not paid attention to that. Thank you, Commissioner Vaughn. On the very first page of the application, looks like the application was submitted August 20th, 2025. And actually the very first question, have you ever been convicted of a crime, pled nolo contendere to a crime, or been convicted of a felony? And the answer is no.
Did you fill out that application?
I've never marked that I haven't been convicted. I've been completely upfront from day one, even before I came in for the interview.
Did you fill out the application?
On the online application? Or
Online,
did the dealer?
If I may, so our process here at the dealership is to get a paper application. And then I guess they're submitted online in our office. I don't know if it was an oversight or a clerical error in our office manager, but he has 100% been upfront and honest about all charges from day one, even during the interview. So I don't know if that was an oversight on the dealership's part, just going through the motion with multiple applicants. But everything that Dustin has relayed since the time that he was interviewed and throughout that, he's been upfront and honest about.
So in his employee file, you have a hard copy of this?
Yes, ma'am.
It appears based on our records that they have been upfront. Like he provided the information and gave us everything. It just seems like I'm in a bit of clerical error.
Okay.
Well, I would comment to the dealer that the commission takes that application very seriously. And I would ask that if going forward that you would train your staff to understand how important that application is, because it could jeopardize the appeal process and for the applicant to get approved. So that would be my word to the dealer here.
100%. And until that was brought up, I was 100% unaware that it was even marked no. So though, yeah, after this meeting, I'll certainly be doing some digging and find out why the who, what, when, where, and whys on why it was submitted the way it was.
Okay.
All right, I guess we'll go right into Mr. Caldwell. Since you're speaking now, you might as well go ahead and tell us what role you'll play in Mr. Long's employment with you. What role will you play in that?
So as of right now, I've been his immediate supervisor, sales manager here at the store, overseeing the sales staff and the business development center. Work with him day in, day out. I actually do monthly forecasts with him and weekly one-on-ones, in addition to daily coaching. So my interaction with Mr. Long is on a daily basis, multiple times a day. His complete interaction with any customers that we have been all corresponded through myself and my other 3 sales managers, as well as our general manager.
Okay. How long has he been employed with you?
Let's say 6 months. July. So a little over.
How long have you been in the car business, Mr. Caldwell?
I've been in the car business for 23 years. I got in the car business in 2003 as a salesperson. Been a finance manager, sales manager, and general manager of the store, and currently sales manager here with Nissan. Been here a little over a year.
Can I go back to Mr. Long, ask him a question about his employment? What have you been doing prior to coming on board with this
I had
current
my
dealership?
I had my own remodeling business, J&G Remodeling, that I've
Okay.
had since
That's
2020, and I've been a professional fighter since 2008, and I've ran a gym since
okay.
2010.
Yep. Okay. I apologize. I heard that.
Any further questions?
I make a motion, we approve the license.
Second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for this approval or no approval?
The motion is to approve licensure for Mr. Long. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
My apologies. I'm so sorry. I got confused because you weren't standing right here. We will issue your license electronically today and most likely email it to Mr. Caldwell, whoever the contact is at the dealership. Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, Jeremiah McDaniel.
We don't see him here, so we will follow up. I don't think there's anyone else here in the audience.
I've reached out to and emailed.
Why don't we table that to next time or what do we do?
Can we do a motion?
Oppose the denial? Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion that we uphold the denial.
Second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll?
The motion is to uphold the denial of licensure for Mr. McDaniel. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. You've upheld the denial of his licensure.
Okay. Next, we have Josie Weiss. Am I saying that correct?
Sir.
It's what?
Yes, sir. It's Josie Weiss.
Weiss, okay. All right. Would you like to inform us of the charges?
So the relevant conviction is possession of Schedule 2 meth. The latest date of release, probation, or parole is February 19th of 2022. So the commission has discretion to deny until February 19th of 2027.
Okay. Ms. Weiss, would you like to address us and tell us kind of your side of what's going on in your life?
Yes, sir. So it was 2019. I was 21 years old. I was struggling at the time with just family and a bunch of things. But long story short is I was making bad decisions and I was having trouble and I was struggling with addiction. I ended up, I was in the car with a guy that was a drug dealer and I was riding around with him and we got pulled over and we both went to jail and I got all the charges as well. And I look at it now as it saved my life. After that, they made me go to like rehab or halfway house. And so I did that for a year. And then I got back out into the real world and I decided, I'm actually not done. I'm not quite ready. So I actually put myself back into a rehab, like an inpatient rehab, an English Mountain Recovery. And then I completed that. That was 4 years ago. I graduated, time flies. It was 2022. April 18th is whenever I graduated. After that, I got back to my hometown. I started looking for a job. And, I was a felon at the time. And so it was really hard to find a job. And so I decided to go and try to be a receptionist. And I got really, really lucky. And Jackie Jones Ford hired me as a receptionist. And I've been here for almost 4 years now. So I was a receptionist for a year, and then I was the car buying department for a year. And then I believe it was February of 2024, I got my sales license, and I've been selling. It'll be 2 years in June that I've been selling. So then I applied for my renewal. And then I got denied on my renewal. And so I was just granted the option to get to tell you guys my story. Since then, Jackie Jones has poured into me, and life has really been on the up and up.
Okay. Questions?
Does anyone have an explanation of how we approved the license and then denied it on renewal with no change in circumstances?
I apologize. Can you repeat the question? I literally asked this same question.
Okay, yeah, no, the question is, how did we have a
Yeah, how did this happen?
license that then got denied on renewal with, as far as I can tell, no change in circumstances?
I would have to go back and review the licensure and see what staff, see what the licensing specialist did, whether or not that conviction was. Okay.
They were
Can we-
mailed
can we-
to the dealership and we got a phone call that they were denied and that it was no good, if that helps in any way. Sorry to butt in.
No, that's fine. Appreciate that.
But they didn't do anything
No,
wrong.
no, they didn't.
No, it's not.
This is totally on us. You didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
We were just concerned because we actually saw that before Commissioner Andrews brought it to our attention. And I would just say, we apologize. Please be patient with us. We are working on a skeleton crew and have had people out incredibly sick. So if you'll give us a 5-minute recess, we can find out what happened and see actually who called there. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't go far.
Let's go ahead.
It is 5 minutes, right?
5 minutes, right?
All right,
Yep.
Siri, set timer.
Right behind you, Nelson.
Don't hit the brakes.
Run away.
Yes, I gave it to you because you're a friend.
Okay. We discussed this, and I'm just going to give the commission a little bit more background information on what we saw. So essentially, the renewal applications now have 2 additional questions, including, have you ever been convicted of a crime? She answered truthfully. It went over to legal, to Sierra, at which point she determined that a previous FSA memo that was conducted for this was done incorrectly by a previous attorney, where they approved her automatically the first time when she should have become before the commission as she is now. And then that's why the renewal was denied, even though the original application was approved, because Sierra then did the correct FSA memo and was provided to you guys. It was no fault of theirs, though.
So really, this is the review we should have done 2 years ago, but now we've got 2 years of what seems to be positive experience under our belt for answering some
Correct.
questions.
Yes, correct.
So that's a good thing.
And I just want to point out in front of you guys, there is a letter on her behalf that was written by Terry Mills, General Sales Manager, as well.
Everybody had a chance to look at that letter. It was laying on your desk when you got here.
So she's never had any complaints or any kind of issues with the commission?
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve her license.
Second. Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for this license?
I absolutely will. And again, my apologies. That is absolutely our mistake.
Okay.
The motion is to approve licensure, Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Jung.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Copenhaver.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Yarborough.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Norton. That's I, Commissioner Vaughn.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Owens. That's I, Commissioner Kramer.
Aye.
That's I, Commissioner Evans. That's I, and Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
Your license is approved. We will process it electronically and email a copy today. Thank you so much for your patience.
Sorry for the trouble, and Could have covered this earlier, but now we have.
Can I just say thank you to the commission for making accommodations for us to join Zoom with the road conditions and, anyways, giving this girl a chance. Thank you all so much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Best of luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Executive Director Lawrence, you want to give your report?
Yes, sir. In your packets, you have a copy of my director's report for this quarter. As you can see, things are moving along very steadily. Our dealer numbers for licensure are really within one or two dealers. We're staying in the same range. We continue to be extremely busy processing everything, but my guys are so on top of things that they're working themselves to death and turning licenses around in record time. I wanted to let everybody know that, and I'm not sure if I shared this the last time, we ended the fiscal year last year $13,000 in the black. And I'm so jazzed about that because we've been in the red for 3 years running, and it should be even better this year because we should have almost a full year under our belts with the increase in our fees for licensure. At some point, the chairman and I are going to have to appear before Government Operations Committee again, unless they just forget about it and move on, for a self-sufficiency hearing, but it's really just pro forma because, again, they will, I mean, we're not in the red anymore, so we just need to get that report and move on. Last week, during the midst of all of the ice storm, things got pushed off. We have, our sunset bills have been filed after we went to appear before the joint committee to discuss the audit, and the motion was made to approve us for a 4-year extension. Those bills were filed. The House bill passed out of the House committee on Monday on a consent calendar, which means they didn't even talk about it. They just passed them all en masse. The Senate bill, I went to Senate Government Operations on Wednesday, and they literally asked no questions. And that was approved unanimously by the Senate Gov Ops Committee. Both those bills should appear on in the respective houses on the floor sometime next week. So hopefully that'll get signed and it'll be a done deal, and we will have 4 more years to continue to operate. I know that Sierra has been working with the Attorney General's office to get them to sign off finally on our retrospective rules. Y'all probably don't really remember. Well, actually, we had that rulemaking hearing in October. Just a couple of technical changes and a couple of the fees that we inadvertently left out. Absolutely nothing earth-shattering. They haven't been sent to the Secretary of State yet. When they do get there, then I believe that time frame is 90 days, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. We have been working with the administrative team on a huge overhaul of our website so that we might be compliant with ADA requirements, which is going to sound really strange because I thought, what is there about a website that's not ADA compliant? And it's literally things like you have to type, instead of providing a link to a document, you have to actually type out the address for the document, things of that nature. And we're working on getting our outreach events finalized. I think that I am going to the Mannheim auction for a dealer's training, and I think that's the 17th, and then we have a dealer training electronic Zoom thing with revenue on the 18th. So things are busy, and we are just moving along as normal. And I would ask you to approve the report.
Commissioner Norton, I approve the director's report.
I second.
Can y'all withdraw that motion? I think that Commissioner Andrews had a question.
Well, it's not really a question pertinent to approving the report or not, but I did have a question about the surplus
Mhm.
and and running as a self-sufficient organization. So I don't know if you want me to wait till after the motion or not.
Okay. Who seconded Yarborough?
Anyway, you want to call the roll for the,
If you want, or we could do a voice vote.
you can do voice vote. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
You adopt.
We adopt.
Yes, sir.
So the question I had, so we're showing that the surplus and hopefully continuing to have an operational surplus. So when we try to run, when we had a couple of years of running as a deficit, do we have to pay back that deficit with the future surpluses, or is that?
No, that's why we actually have a reserve.
Okay, so,
I mean, we've never truly been in the red.
right.
We just had to tap our reserve.
So we paid for it through reserves.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
then, just as I try to be forward thinking as a member of the commission, I know there's a number, like you mentioned, the website improvements, but generally speaking, there can be some opportunities to invest in technology to make the process more efficient and try to preserve future surpluses through, getting rid of redundancies or inefficiencies. Is this something we need to be starting to think about as a commission of how do we invest in operational improvements to preserve future surpluses?
We sort of have relied upon guidance from administrative staff, and I know that's something that Assistant Commissioner Witcher has taken a lead on, and he's been very, very proactive about looking into technologies and things that we can do to ensure that we maintain our surplus and that we're doing the right things and we get rid of inefficiencies. I can't give you specifics about those because my eyes sort of glaze over when you start talking about AI. No, Commissioner Rydell is like, just ask me. I know all about that. But those things are being looked into, I can assure you. And I mean, I think did we include the NPS in their stuff? It might be very small. I will let this one circulate as of and this is just as of November 25. It certainly looks better than this. But if you'll notice, and I'll highlight it, our fiscal reserve was at 1.1 million. So, I mean, I think we started out at like 2 million several years ago, but we're in the red operationally for a year's period, but that's why we have a reserve.
Very good.
Okay. Next is legal.
Okay, this is Erica Cable. For the legal report, we only had one change. And just give me 1 second.
Sorry.
Okay, so this is kind of a long amendment because it addresses 3 complaints against the same dealer, all under number 22. So number 22, the complaint numbers are 2025-041-971, 2025-043-551, and 2025-058-981. And there is an amendment that addresses each of the 3 complaints. So in addition to the recommendation of the civil penalty for each of these 3 complaints and the option for the dealer to either pay that civil penalty or surrender their dealer license and close the dealership, we are offering a third option, and that is the dealer can come into the next board meeting in April and appear before the commission, which would no longer give them anonymity, but it would allow them to address any questions the board has. And then if they choose that and do come in at the next board meeting, then the commission will make a decision on how to move forward with these complaints at that time. If they do not choose that option, they can sign the consent order as recommended, or they can surrender their license. And that concludes the amendments to the legal report.
Okay, what's your pleasure on legal?
I'll make a motion to approve the legal report.
The motion is to adopt the legal report as amended, made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Yarborough.
That's correct. Will you, Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for that vote?
Absolutely. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Copenhaver? Aye. That's aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Owens? That's aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Evans? Aye. That's aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. You have adopted the legal report as amended.
Okay, who wants to, handle the legislative updates?
I can do that really
Okay.
quickly. Actually, there's not much of an update. I think basically I just told you,
Sure.
that, our sunset bill should be on both, in both chambers on the floor sometime next week. There are a couple of small bills that have been introduced and only tangentially affect us, like a tax on electric charging stations, but we're not sure where that's gonna go. I mean, I will absolutely keep you apprised of everything when they become more relevant. We literally just had the bill filing cutoff, like 2,000 bills. I'm trying to go through the list and everyone else is too, but I don't think there's anything earth shattering.
Public comments? Is there anything out there? Anybody got anything to say?
Should
If
adjourn.
not, the next meeting, our next quarterly meeting is April 28th, here, same place. And, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.